take questions for Coach Sumlin.
What clicked tonight in the game?
Excuse me?
What went right tonight in the game? What did you guys do differently this game that led to all this success?
Well, I think we've had moments. You know, we really talked about 4 quarters because we played pretty well in 2 quarters of games, second half of games, 3 quarters of game. But we talked about playing 4 quarters and seeing what happens, and not playing a perfect game. You don't have to be perfect, but playing 4 quarters, and we did that.
Can you just talk about the defense and their performance tonight as a unit?
Yeah, I thought, you know, that obviously we tackled well. Really didn't let the ball get over our heads for really big plays. And, you know, with the exception of the busted coverage in the first half over there, we cut a guy loose. We didn't have very many of those. We got the running back underneath when we were in some drop 8 situations, and we kept the ball in front of us. But I thought, you know, we rushed the passer pretty well, moved him off the spot, and made him a little bit uncomfortable, because when he sits in there, he's got time. He's something else, you know. But to move him around just a little bit off the spot is what we wanted to do, and force him to not be comfortable. I thought our defense did that, but obviously, you know, the tackling was probably as good as we've been all year, and the coverage was too, and the mixture of zone and man-to-man, and trying to get him off the spot. He's a heck of a player, and I think that translated into what we've talked about here every week is 3rd downs. Sorry about my voice. So, but again, I don't know what were they. 3 of 16, right?
No.
So there you go. I mean, that's the story.
When did you know that Khalil would be able to play, and do you think that a healthy Khalil provided a spark to your players tonight?
I knew he was probably going to play. We practiced him. We walked through, really did a little bit Monday, and then Tuesday after practice we talked, and he said he felt fine.
Do you think a healthy Khalil provided a spark?
I don't know.
You guys came out really fired up tonight.
Yeah, well, like I said, it was about playing 4 quarters. So, you know, whether that was the case or not, I can't tell you. I mean, he's played before, so we haven't played 4 quarters. And it's more to it than just him. And, you know, for us to play 4 quarters, because like as I said, we've been in games where we played a half, or we played 3 quarters, like even back to the first game, like a BYU. But, you know, and it's been different times. It's been 1st, 2nd, 4th quarter. It's been 3rd and 4th quarter, which are games he's been a part of. So it's a team effort, and you know, him being back has nothing to do with how the defense played.
What made the pass rush so successful tonight?
Well, I think it's been successful the last couple weeks. You know, since PJ's been back there. I mean, he's been in the backfield. You know, you got a guy who's 2nd in the league for tackles for loss and scored. But the difference is not that. The difference was probably the coverage and the tackle when they did get the ball out. So, you know, pressuring the quarterback is really, we can be better, but that hadn't been the issue. The issue has been if he gets the ball off, now what, right? And then coverage and tackling was as good as it's been all year.
Did you think that Sean Brown should have gotten that unsportsmanlike conduct, or did you think he was actually hit late after the touchdown?
What's that?
After Sean Brown's touchdown?
I didn't see what he did, but I saw what happened during the play, and that's why my reaction was what it was.
Is this a glimpse into what this program can become? I mean, this was fantastic. You guys just blew out a top 25 team here at home.
Well, that's what we want to be. So that's our goal, to be a top 25 team. And in order to do that, you've got to beat other teams in that range. So that's who we want to be, and we got a ways to go. But I think the takeaway is that for our players to be a part of that and to see it. Now I think they understand what that takes. It's not just Saturday night. It's we're in the Monday through Friday phase, but all that's for naught because everybody else sees is 3 hours and 20 minutes, right? So that's what you're judged on. So your execution during those 3 hours and 20 minutes or whatever that is, it becomes important. And so now they understand what that looks like for 4 quarters. And as we talked about today in that locker room tonight, it's about remembering the preparation, remembering the execution for 4 quarters and what that takes, and then stay humble and understand. All right, this is a big game. It's homecoming. I get it, but we've got to stay hungry too and understand that we've got a lot of football left to play against some other good teams, and can we follow that up is the next challenge.
What can you say about J.J. Taylor? Over 200 yards tonight, over 1,000 for the season. Finished with that, that leaping.
It's like you said, he's a great example to our younger players, just how he approaches his daily life, on and off the field, the way he approaches the game. He's a very, very intelligent guy, young man. He's a guy that's a leader, but also is a guy who can push other people. He's a great example for this program and for what we want as a competitor, as a person, and just how he approaches everything. And as you said, he didn't have to leave his feet. He'd already rushed for whatever. The game was where it was, and that's just who he is. And to be a kick returner and to do all that, we had to get him out. He wasn't coming out. I think there's one time that I looked at him and he kind of looked at me like, hey, but he's got so much pride and he cares so much. Particularly when Gary left the game, he knew it was at stake and he said, I'll be fine.
What was your reaction when he left his feet?
Touchdown. Is he in? So.
How impressed were you with the wide receivers, especially early on against an athletic Oregon, a bunch of defense?
Well, I think they don't get enough credit, as I said. This game is built around. I think the perimeter game of screens. To get 4 or 5 yards and sometimes more. 10 says a lot about their blocking for each other. I think that we were able to spread them out a little bit more because of the perimeter blocking and what the receivers did outside. And, because all that works hand in hand. When you got a quarterback run game and you've got some screens out there and everybody's able to sit in the box and jam us up, we've got to be able to either get down the field on some things or be able to throw screen game and widen them out, spread them out, and I think that had a big effect on our run game. I know it did, from run support and everything else. So all those things worked together. It gave us an opportunity for, Khalil pulled it a couple times, which put some pressure on the perimeter. But I think the first half being able to throw the screen game really created some space in there and some one-on-ones outside with blocks, and I thought they did a nice job of that, and that created some other opportunities from a run support situation and for Jada. And let's not, I've talked about it before, explosive plays aren't just one person. We get a 9, 6, 11, 12-yard runs, that's one thing. But when you get 30, 40, 50-yard runs, those guys on the perimeter are really working like crazy.